There we go. Okay.
All right. So I'm calling to order this meeting of the governance subcommittee of the Economic Development Commission. We'll do the roll call. I am present. Alessa Suter Klein is present. We have a quorum. Opportunity for public comment. I don't know if David wanted to say anything before the meeting or not.
I basically want to see how this works and get as much early heads up on what's planned for the next, excuse me, year or two, so that I can go into PZC and other meetings with a better awareness of what's coming down the pipe.
Sure. All right. Next item is to approve the minutes of the December 5th meeting and July 7th. I guess July 7th really, wasn't really a meeting, but why don't we go ahead and does anyone have any comments on the December 5th minutes?
I don't have any comments.
Okay, neither do I. Given that there are two of us, Valessa, I will ask you to move the approval of the minutes.
I will make a motion to move the approval of the minutes.
And I'll second those and we can vote and I approve them.
Seconded, or I also approve them. It's even more useful.
Great. Then those are approved. The July 7 minutes, not really sure what to do about those, Cynthia, since we didn't have a quorum.
Yeah, so after that meeting, I checked in with the town clerk, Sarah Ann Chain, and this is how she advised me to put the minutes together. So I do think you need to approve them, and you don't have to have been there to approve them. So Valessa could still approve them. But I think we have to get on the record that they're approved.
Right. I will make a motion to approve the July 7th minutes as well.
And I will second that and approve it. And Valessa, you approve as well?
I do, yes.
So that brings us to this discussion items to review the EDC proposed priorities for fiscal year 2024-25. Cynthia has given us a draft report of the and list of priorities. So Cynthia, I'm going to turn it over to you to present that.
Sure, happy to. So I think I'll hit the high points, and then any questions that you have, feel free to interrupt me or we can check in at the end. So with respect to economic development staffing, and really a lot of this is, well, it's staff and EDC members, but I did make a request to increase this from 40,000 to 50,000 after talking to Town Manager Aylesworth. Just allows us to do a few more things, and then cost of living increases because most of this money does go towards staffing. So that was approved with the partnerships Finance and Growth Committee last month in December. Our full budget will go to our board in March or April. But that is a key item just to flag for you all. So a couple of things again to highlight on page 1. We did have a very good meeting with the Mansfield Center folks back in August, and we want to continue some of those meetings. And then in working with Director of Planning and Development, Jennifer Kaufman, want to also reach out to the Perkins Corner businesses as well, just to start with these neighborhoods, starting to maybe galvanize some collaboration, some communication really amongst themselves, with us kind of helping with meetings and things that might be needed. So that's on the radar. Connecticut's countryside, and David, some of this I'm elaborating a little bit more just for your benefit. So hopefully if I'm missing something, you can let me know. But so this is the economic development regional collaboration between Bolton, Coventry, Mansfield, and Holland. And we have a couple of exciting things for the coming year. We will have a business forum at the UConn's Innovation Partnership Building on February 7th. We'll have 2 speakers, one on artificial intelligence, which should be very interesting, and how that might affect businesses, both positively and potentially negatively, I guess. And then how do you utilize the state CT visit site? All businesses can have a link on that site, and we just want to encourage people to do that. It's pretty easy to do. And so we'll have a little tutorial on that. And then we'll go over to Hops 44 for a social afterwards. So we're including this as kind of one of the EDC and partnership socials combining with Connecticut's countryside. So we'll do an official email blast, I hope this week on that. And then the website and social media campaign, we received about 10 applications to help us put up expand on a sort of draft website that Tim Liptrap, who's on Coventry's EDC, he's a business professor at Nichols College, put together for us. And then, so we have chosen, we think 3 or 4 that we want to interview. We're going to confirm that next week and move forward with those interviews. This is being funded with a match from each town and also an Eastern Regional Tourism District. Actually, I'm sorry, the video that is done is Eastern Regional Tourism District. So lots going on there. The Business Digest, which Kathleen started, and Kathleen Patterson, our communications manager, started in 2022. We're really trying to get that back on track in terms of having that be monthly. Updating the economic development website is another piece that I really want us to make some progress there. The town is updating the town website, so I need to verify with Kathleen whether it makes sense to do some changes before then. I think we could definitely transfer stuff over, but you know, economies of scale, does it make sense to make a bunch of changes before that's done? The cultural district discussion, you know, of which Lane and Valessa were at the last meeting. We're actually, Magdalena Pulowski, our event coordinator, are leaving for Norwich after this meeting to go meet with the cultural coalition folks. They have put together all the different places that people identified as cultural assets in Mansfield. So we'll be working on that map when we go down there today. We also
don't extend your discussion on my behalf. I don't want to hold everybody up. So just do it like I'm not here, and I'll just be a fly on the wall.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm almost done with this piece. So yeah. So, and then we also are hoping to present a commercial facade improvement program to the council at some point, just as information to start with. And Rosemary Watson in our office, she put together that for us. And so we'll hopefully do that sometime in the spring. And then, you know, we have our list of various accomplishments. You know, obviously some of them I've already gone over. The public art piece, we have 3 artists identified for the public art piece with the ARPA money. We are trying to find the best locations for them. And so I'm meeting with staff from Rise Up, who I'm working with on Monday, and we hope to have some of those conversations with those 3 artists in the next coming weeks. And I'll just stop there to see if there's any questions from anybody before I talk a little bit about the marketing.
Actually, Cynthia, so I was wondering, and maybe this doesn't fall under the purview of the economic development staffing per se, but like where do things like Winter Welcome and Know Your Town, which I think were both really very successful events, kind of fall into this, or is that just a separate thing that the partnership does?
Yeah, so I think, Lane, all our events, well, I don't think, all our events fall under the partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Explore Our Town Guide, I don't know if I mentioned that in here. We have about 350 copies left of the 5,000 copies. So we're still, like, I'm bringing some to the chamber, to the Talent Chamber next week. So we're still distributing that, but that would be an EDC/town project.
Got it.
And Rise Up is Connecticut wide, so
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So there's a gentleman, Matt Conway, who's the executive director. They generally focus on murals, and they also were the ones that helped do the MLK mural here on the community center.
Cool, okay.
So moving on with the positioning. Oh, is there a question? No. Moving on with the positioning and marketing development plan. So probably the big one there is the wayfinding and signage plan. So we have identified a contractor to develop the signs, and this would be for the first phase, which would be the parks and downtown stores. We're still working through some funding issues there on our end, so we do need some additional funding there, so we'll be working toward that. But we have identified a vendor, and hopefully, knock on wood, we'll get those signs in place by late summer. That's the plan. We still have the last piece. We combined a couple of pieces, so the last two pieces would be the vehicular signs, so the road signs, and then also landmark signs, so like a new sign in front of the town hall, the senior center, et cetera, et cetera. So we have the plan though for all phases, so that's good. Kathleen in her office, who I mentioned earlier, she and Margaret Shady, who's the town's communications specialist, they really have the lead on some of our marketing efforts. We have done couple of things with respect to Jorgensen ads. We did I think as you both know, the cover and an article in the Summer Fun and Dining Guide. So there's some other ideas that are percolating with them. The one event that is townwide is Restaurant Week Taste to Towns. And I made a couple of follow-up calls Friday, so we have 7 restaurants participating, and I can give you a sneak preview if I can remember them all off the top of my head. So from Mansfield, we have Fenton River, Dogland Cafe, Gansett Wraps, Hops 44, Liables, Haven Hot Chicken, Square Peg Pizzeria. Little Aladdin has made a verbal commitment, and hoping to get back some of the folks that we had last year. So I'm really excited because we have 3 new groups, new restaurants / food establishments. So I think that's great. And we weren't even sure if some of them, like the Nationals, would be able to do that, but they are. So that's really exciting.
That was my question. That's great.
Yeah, I was like, it doesn't hurt to ask, and we might as well reach out to everybody. So
And Little Aladdin's is great, so I'm glad they're participating.
yeah. Cal with Gansett usually helps me with that one. Yeah.
Got it, yeah.
So yeah, they're friends. So
I love that. That's great.
yeah, it is good. Any other questions on that until we talk a little bit about Taste of Mansfield?
Nope, not for me.
So so I should get back to the funding for the marketing was, and I realized, yes, it is in there, 50,000, which is the same as what we've done the last couple of years. We are going to be tapping into that likely for some of the wayfinding and signage that wasn't budgeted. So not what's coming this year, but what's in the current fiscal year. And then Taste of Mansfield is the same amount, 5,000. So something that I think was a great initiative that I think was started by Michael Stankoff, who is also staffing this with a couple of us, is these mini grants. So for instance, we've applied for reimbursement for the trees for winter welcome. And that is a local, it's not food necessarily, but it's supporting agriculture. Because they come from a local farm and come from E.O. Smith. And there's a couple of other things that I think associated with the farmers market that have applied for mini grants. So that's a way to use some of our funding. We will start our 3rd annual champion award, which is really something that came out of the commission from Ben. And why am I forgetting his last name, Lane? Ben Wiles.
Yeah. Ben Wiles, yeah.
Ben Wiles, who moved to California, but he really wanted to do something something like that. And so I'm excited that we're continuing that for a third year. So we'll be sending that out the end of this month to look for nominations. And then the Mansfield Farms to Families program, which is really a human services program, has been incredibly successful. I just think the work that they've done has been amazing. So it comes under the banner of Taste of Mansfield. As staff, our staff and Margaret, we don't really do too much except Margaret promotes it. But it's been a really good partnership, and I, again, just really commend their staff. We're hoping to maybe do some community dinners too. You know, there's a new food services person, and so I know that's something Margaret wants to bring back. I don't know, Valessa, if you were here when, so before the pandemic, and I don't know, David, if you attended any, but Mansfield Schools would do a community dinner over in the middle school. And it was just a really, I thought, a great project using local foods, and it really brought the community together, and I think it was well received and well attended. I went to one of them, I think, maybe two.
That's really cool. And it made me think of something I've been meaning to ask. Before I moved over here, I lived on Davis, and Monticello used to have block parties before the pandemic, before I was here. But I was curious, did the town ever support those, or was it a local thing?
Since I don't live here, I don't really know. I know that, and Lane might be able to help out. I know that there is Willowbrook Dog Lane, I don't know if it's official, but association. So I know they do things. I also know, forgetting the name of the road, it's right past, near the bike shop. But before that, off to the left.
Yeah.
They used to do block parties there.
Yeah. All right. I'll ask around a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's it, unless there's more questions or things I'm missing that we should try to promote.
I had one other question.
No, go ahead.
No, you first, Lane.
I was just going to say my comment is probably the same one that I often have, is that I'm amazed by how much we're able to do with a very, very modest budget. So
I think that's largely thanks to the partnership. So thank you, Cynthia.
Well,
Yeah.
we have a great team, and you know, great team at the town. So anyway, I appreciate both your comments.
My last question was just on who promotes, are there opportunities for us to do more promotion of the farmers market? Because we have a really nice farmers market.
So Erin Richter is the market master. Have you met her, Valessa?
I might have met her. I
Yeah.
don't know her, though. Yeah.
So I know that she was out for a couple months. And so I don't know. I just know she's been out for a couple months, but that's something I can mention to Margaret and Rosemary, since Rosemary does a lot of the staffing for that with Margaret. I'm pretty sure that, you know, it comes under the banner Taste of Mansfield as
Yeah.
well. And I know Margaret has definitely done some promotion on the town, like Facebook pages and social media. So I can mention that to them, that, you know, what are some of the other ways that the farmers market is promoted.
I'd just be curious because they do send their emails out, and it seems decently well attended. But anyway, I always worry about it because I think it's a little gem, and I like going, and I just want to make sure it stays sort of well participated.
Yeah, I know there's certainly many, many regulars there. At least there used to be. I know that.
okay. Well, I don't have any further questions or comments. Do you need us to recommend this to the broader EDC, or what precisely do we need to do with it?
I think that would be good, Lane. I don't know if it needs to be a motion, but, you know, however you want to do it, just by consensus or.
So Melissa, unless you think otherwise, I would propose that that this be forwarded to the full EDC for consideration.
I definitely agree with that. I think it's good.
Great. And that meeting will be here before we know it.
Yeah. All right. So I think that concludes the discussion items. Next item was communications. I don't know if there were any.
No communications. But I did,
Okay.
if I could, Lane, just for David's
Mhm.
purposes, maybe, I know it's not this subcommittee, but maybe briefly, you or I could just tell him the process when we are forwarded on development projects. Is that appropriate or?
I'm fine with it. It's not really the purpose of this subcommittee, but
Yeah,
we also don't
again,
really.
I don't want to take the
Public-
time of everybody, maybe one of us could meet offline, but I was thinking I'd just join the EDC meeting next time it meets and watch the process go forward.
That makes sense. That's probably, to Lane's point, that's probably the best way. And Rosemary and I have a prep meeting with Steve, so I will just mention that to him so that he can, go over the process. Because we always have subcommittee reports, and that development project review subcommittee hasn't met, mainly because of the moratorium, but he can talk about the process.
Thank you.
Okay. Future meetings, and I guess our perennial topic is EDC member recruitment. I don't know if we had anything particular on that front or if it's just sort of a permanent item.
Yeah, so I think it's just gonna sit there. So we do have, I'm trying to remember if, Celeste, were you at the last EDC meeting? Yes, okay, so we have a new member coming on, so we do have 9 members now, which is fantastic.
It can be Farina.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I think we'll just leave that on there. We do have a couple of seats up. Anthony and Kristen. So their seats are up in April, so that's another topic that Steve and I will talk about.
I
Okay.
would ask about that, about just participation standards and stuff like that.
Yeah, some of that is not being met. So I think that's something we'll have to look into, and Steve will probably take the lead there.
Yeah. So something for you to think about as well, David. There are open seats on the EDC. If you
My
like
ears
what you
are
see,
burning,
you
so.
don't like what you see.
Notes taken.
All right. Okay. Well, I think we've come to the end of the agenda, so I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
And I will make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, and I will second it and also approve it.
Perfect.
So I think we stand adjourned. Thank you, Cynthia.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have a nice weekend.
I love our efficient
Yeah.
meetings. Thank you all. See you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Al.
See you.
Bye, David.